rinse that. No, keep this one here. It's okay.
Twins here. Check out our friend Matthew Spirit at his podcast at The Dumb Show and his website, don'tunfriendme.com.
Tonight's show is brought to you by the Purcellville Flag Company, pfcflags.com. Get yourself an American wooden flag so bright you have to wear shades. pfcflags.com. Go there. Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show. I can now take the shades off since we have done the PFC intro. Yeah. You know, I should have done Cup of Coffee, from Randy Macho Man, Cup of Coffee. Freak out. All right. So anyway, welcome to the show. We're sorry we're late.
I thought his thing was the Slim Jim.
He does the snap, but he also does, one part where he's with Mean Gene. He's like, cup of coffee, man. Yep, I'm going to make myself a cup of coffee. He tries it. Coffee, freak out, man. And he walks and he's so freaking coked out of his head that, of course, ladies and gentlemen, Leroy spoke first. Leroy Jenkins is in the house.
Hello, folks.
Leroy Jenkins is in the MF house up to my, top left, I guess. Whatever the hell she is. Amy Robinson. Amy, welcome to the show.
Holy cannoli. Oh,
I heard it and you're like, holy cannoli. Oh, mother of God.
And with no further ado, the camera that is now working, Olivia Spear, who will do a little Irish dance, a jig, if you will. Maybe she'll put an Irish curse on my nutsack. I don't think she's very happy with me right now. Lass says, oh, fuck Matt, he's being a complete cooksucker. Is that what she's saying? Olivia? No? Okay.
I think the camera's in a different position than it was before.
I've said, oh my Lord, I swear to God.
I didn't get a look at it. It was you and Hayden, and I can't see it. I could only see that from the last show that you were
it needs to be over here.
It needs to be over there.
You can move it.
Way sideways.
Move it. Here, let's see. Oh, God. Now you need to, oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's good.
Okay.
Oh,
it looks good.
Terrible.
Oh, yeah, it does look terrible.
Yeah, fuck you, Leroy.
Welcome to this. Holy shit, it's starting early. Look, she's listen, she may tolerate my shit, Leroy, but she's definitely not going to tolerate yours. So, like, as always, like it's only like once.
I love you too.
It's only once once, twice, 3 times a month. It's like the last time we were on together, I fucking like barked at Amy, Leroy. It happened again tonight because what happened was that we set up the camera and the iPhone decided not to connect, so we had no camera. So we had to download a piece of software. We went through multiple resets. I rebooted. I mean, it's just a pain in the ass, and it pushed the show that far back. And then other things didn't work. So we're sorry for being late, folks. But you know, the show must go on. We almost didn't make it, but here we are now. We've got quite a few different people in the house. We've got Dale is in the house. He's watching in Louisiana. It's good to have you. We'll put the notes in the middle of the screen. Take a look at the middle and you'll see your comments and you'll have your 15 minutes of fame. Kat is here. She says hi, all watching. James Clemens is here.
By the way, happy belated Mother's Day, Olivia. I hope you had a good Mother's Day.
You. You too.
Happy Mother's Day, you too. Absolutely. Leroy, happy Mother's Day to you.
Thank you very kindly, and to you as well, Olivia.
Thank
Matt,
you.
Amy.
Thank you. I mean, since we're going to go to Plan a
for all you mothers and all you mother truckers.
Birthing persons.
Yeah. Because
that's what Hayden calls me. She calls me her birth giver.
Birth giver.
She wished me a happy Mother's Day to my favorite birth giver on Instagram is what she.
Tina Savage is already starting her shit. She goes, finally, lots of laughs. Chevelle is on. Michelle is on. Woohoo, we're live. Hot dog. Hot diggity dog, hot dog, hot dog, hot diggity dog, hot dog. What the hell is that? Isn't that
Mickey Mouse Club?
Mickey Mouse Club,
Disney.
right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's Mickey Mouse Club.
Mickey Mouse. I'm singing it right now. I'm singing it right now, Liv. Gosh, it's gonna be a night. Mm-hmm. Robbie Medlin. At least we're not gonna have the pie discussion because you guys missed the complete pie discussion. It was actually excellent. I trolled our own viewers for about 15 minutes, and I was like, "Pie has to have crust over the top of it, otherwise it's not pie." And they're like, "Yes, it is. If it has crust, it's a pie." I'm like, "Well, explain cheesecake." And then we just got into this huge debate, and they're just like, people are, Olivia's right. And then finally, Amy's like, dude, I think Matt's doing an epic troll. And I'm like, there it is. She figured it out. Deidre is on. Melanie, Arkansas is watching. Howie, welcome. Speaking of Amy, hello. Lee Houston is here. Melanie is here. Nasty weather, Louisiana in the house. What's going on in Louisiana? Is there a storm that I'm not aware of? Olivia, you always tell me all the storms going around the globe.
A storm. The only storm notice I have is for a cyclone near Indonesia. That's it.
Okay, because you'll tell me too. You'll wake me up in the middle of the night. Oh my God, Matt! Because it's a level 3 typhoon. Oh my God, where? It's in Bali. What the? Who cares? Hi, Matt from Tennessee. Hi, Jimmy. Thomas is in the house from Onslow County, North Carolina. Glenn is in the house. Glenn, my brother from another mother. Maureen is popping in for a few minutes. Samantha is here. Hi, Maureen. Lee says, watching from Aruba. Aruba?
Ooh,
that's the
hell are you doing from Aruba? Why are you in Aruba without telling us?
Why did you tell us?
Yeah, that's just like a hop, skip, and a jump from Barbados. You better bring me back some rum, Bubba.
That's what I'm saying. Come on. All right. Anyway, Karen's here. Hi, Karen. Maureen is saying like, share, and subscribe. Brenda's here. Hi, Brenda. Brenda Martin. Paul, hi, dummies. Montana in the house. Hi, Paul. Good evening, Janet. Welcome. 4 hosts. Yeah, I know. All 4 of us are in the house for the first time. We can finally get to use this cell. Santana is in the house. How are we doing over on Rumble and YouTube?
Got a few. Got some people talking. Just
Good.
Judy on Rumble, but.
Howie says, how's your day, Amy? We've been getting the yard cleaned up today, but got some time to relax. How's your day going? Yep. Yeah, Amy, please tell us how's your day going.
Me, Amy? I think he's probably talking to the other Amy. My day has been a lot of traffic. 95 was like a nightmare today. So, just an hour late for like appointments. It's totally fine.
Welcome to Virginia. Kristen is in the house. Vicky's here. Vicky's got a new picture. Lovely picture, Vicky. Eileen is here. And let's see. Don Bradley is in the house. Gosh, everybody's just rocking around. F you, Leroy, Glenn says. So
thank you.
Glad to be here. Todd says. I think we're coming up, but we've got a lot of people on. Joanne is here. Hi, Joanne. Start off with a question on the large explosion in Ukraine. Did the area contain depleted uranium? They are saying it was an ammo dump with $500 million of ammo. No, it was fuel. Come on. It was an old fuel. You're not going to. Fuel dumps are. Okay. ammo dumps are like World War II and Iraq War. People have learned not to keep their ammo all in one spot anymore.
Yeah, they diversify.
They have diversified. They put some in underground. They put some in bunkers. They put some in churches. It's all over the place.
A lot of times the people that are watching that kind of thing, the military folks who actually write reports on some of this stuff, and I'm going to be straight up honest, I don't know what the hell you're talking about, but I do know something about this. Generally speaking, when you're talking about a fuel dump, you will get, like, usually it's just either one large explosion, a lot of black clouds, that kind of thing.
Yep.
When you're talking about something like an ammo dump, it's very distinctive because there's always secondaries. There's secondaries, and the little mini explosions will go on for hours, depending on how concentrated the area is with explosives.
Yep.
Like fireworks.
So, that, and also the sound is a lot different. And then you'll see a ton of white rockets like shoot up in the air. It's just a different. Go watch the ammo dumps in Iraq. You would see a giant mushroom, and then you would see tens of thousands of little white streaks like bottle rockets all over. That's the ammo and everything else. It's not ammo, it's fuel, and it's black. And fuel, that's what it looks like. That's the shit that our veterans were breathing in when I was in with JP5, and now what is it now? JP9, JP11, what JP9? JP something.
JP5, I thought still.
I thought it was JP5 too, and somebody corrected me. Hi, Matt, Olivia, and Amy, and the dummies. How are all you? I hope everyone had a wonderful Mother's Day too, though to all those apply. And a ginormous F you to Leroy. I love you, buddy. Tom Shin says, I made it. I survived being hit by a suicide elk. No injuries. Feel lucky to be alive. Wait, what?
Ooh.
You got charged by an elk?
Probably
Sounds
ran in
like
front
he
of the
hit
car.
one on the freeway, maybe?
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, in front of on the car
like
or
this.
in the road.
Elk could jack a car up.
So I'm going to pull an Olivia.
An
So
elk?
the elk was trying to make love to your car? Oh my God. Oh my God. Like, you got to push the button. Whatever. Fine. You going to push the button? Melanie says, hi, I
Driving
made
a John
pie
Deere.
tonight.
Find it.
It made pie tonight. Was it one with it? Did it have a cover? Pies are supposed to have covers. I don't know if you know this.
What's going on?
That's right.
A little late, but it'll work.
That's all right. Your glare was enough for everybody. Colleen is here. Why did this open on YouTube? Geez, I don't know. I don't know. Not working, and happy to join you live from Raleigh, North Carolina. Good to have you. You guys hear that Netflix ticked Egypt off? Yeah, I mean, so has anyone seen this? Olivia, have you looked this up real quick? Netflix Egypt. Has anyone heard this but me?
No, not at all.
Oh, well, let me enlighten you. So what they decided to do, you know how the left hates cultural appropriation, right? They can't stand it.
Right.
As long as you're white, right? If you're a white person, you're immediately appropriating someone else's culture. So what they've done, Olivia's sending me the link.
I don't even know what it's
Just
about.
Netflix, Egypt, Cleopatra.
Okay.
And
Gotcha.
send me.
Oh, I've heard about this, but I did not know this was a thing now. I mean, I've heard about it like weeks ago.
Yeah, essentially, as soon as Olivia sends me the link.
Culture appropriation by definition.
I
mean, that's what culture is.
Yeah.
Well,
that's like the definition of it.
Right, but when Olivia sends me this article right away,
it probably would have been easier if I could look it up because I'm trying.
I know. Do you have it yet?
Yes, I thought I just sent it.
Okay, I'll find it.
While we're looking for that, I want to
there it
share
is.
with you guys something that happened over the weekend that
Okay, first we found it. Let's do this real quick. Let's because this puppy's gonna go so fast that you're not even gonna feel it. So wow, look at this new advert. This is an interesting advertising cell. It's taking up my entire screen. Weird.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you noticed, but these aren't Egyptians. These are black women. So what you're saying is, in the age of Egypt and pre-Macedonians, somehow nubile princesses from Africa decided to trek up into Egypt and somehow become royalty and the daughter of the pharaoh in order to get their booty call on as Cleopatra. This is the problem with 1619 bullshit. This is just all it does is instead of whitewash history, it blackwashes history. And this thing tanked worse than the Exxon fucking Valdez. This thing got a 2% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, really?
So,
ouch.
Rotten Tomatoes.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not against other cultures playing, other cultures, but Egyptians have a distinct look about them.
Yeah, they're not black.
No, yeah, I know. I actually have clients who are from Egypt, and they're, it's a man and a woman, but
Shit,
they're
Leroy.
beautiful people, like aesthetically beautiful.
Listen to me when I say this. Dude, bullshit. Don't even try. Go ahead, Leroy. Try.
Okay. How many movies did I grow up with where I'm watching? Who's the guy who's the NRA guy? Charlton Heston, where he played an Egyptian, or the Ten Commandments.
Right. And why don't you compare? How about Elizabeth Taylor playing fucking Cleopatra?
Exactly.
Right. The funny thing is, though, bro, is Elizabeth Taylor looks a hell of a lot more Egyptian than these two lasses. Okay, that's a fact.
I guess what I'm saying is we've been living with this kind of thing for years and years and years. Earlier on in Hollywood's history, really nobody gave a shit.
But if you want to go back to 1960, that was different because Hollywood was racist and they'd only put white people on TV. And the only time they had black people on effectively was during Roots. So let's just be honest. Right. I mean, Sidney Poitier in Heat of the Night, he got death threats for that movie. Listen, here's what it comes down to. I get it. Like, I don't want to see Tom Cruise in a movie about samurais unless he's a white guy who gets, in which The Last Samurai is one of the best damn movies ever. I love that freaking movie. But it's not cultural appropriation because he is white and he moves into it and he's a Union soldier and that's it. So look at this score, dude. The tomato meter is 10%. The audience score is 2%. It is the lowest. Tomatoes. It is the lowest scored TV show ever in history. And that is here. Let me just show you. Just watch this. The worst show ever. Murder, She Wrote.
I hated that show.
Who didn't? So if we look at TV shows, Murder, She Wrote. It doesn't even have a tomato score. That's how much better it is than Cleopatra if they haven't even rated it. That it's so Cleopatra's so bad they had to give it the worst score possible. That's how bad it is. And it just shows you if you go woke, you go broke, man. That's what it is. That's what it means. Yeah. And I wish it was something different, but it's true. And we've seen it now with Bud Light. We've seen it with everything else. So ultimately, Black African princesses become Egyptian.
Whatever. There's a big part of that basically says that at some point in the last 5-6 years worth of Hollywood, like at some point, we recognized that a character from history would likely look a certain way. And then we would dress people up in makeup to make them look like that characterization. And it's like, now we're supposed to like throw all of that to the side and say, nah, screw the makeup. We're just you go out there and own it. You can be the part, right? Without any, you don't even have to look like that person anymore. And eventually, and mark my words, eventually we're going to get to a point where Hollywood is going to say, oh, that,
read
lady at the back of the bus.
Rosa Parks.
Rosa Parks. Rosa Parks can be played by, Ben Affleck at some point. Because sex won't matter, looks won't matter. You know what I mean?
Well, you saw those. You guys saw. Did you?
He's got range.
Yeah.
Did you guys see the Netflix covers that I showed earlier?
The spammer.
I did.
Yeah. So they're getting a spammer right now. Real quick. Here's some pictures of Egyptians, and I'll be honest with you. I could have been 18 and it could have been at my dad's hotel, and there could have been this 32-year-old woman from Egypt who was an executive vice president who was dating the general manager of the hotel and golf course, and I may have slept with her.
My God.
It's possible.
How old were you?
18 or so, but she, I'm talking like Egyptian. Just anyway, Egyptian. I find Egyptian women beautiful. Completely. I mean, any Middle Eastern women, just absolutely gorgeous. So Egyptian women, that's what they look like. And that's why I said Liz Taylor looks more Egyptian than those other girls, because honestly, most Egyptian women, black hair, black eyes, brown eyes, dark brown eyes. That's it. And maybe a slight olive skin. That's it.
I think that.
But Yul Brynner, though?
Yul Brynner looks Egyptian. Sure.
That man was white.
Yeah, but you're not. I think you're mischaracterizing Yul Brynner. King and I. Let's take a look.
I think that if you're going to do if it's a historical movie, Cleopatra is a true story. And, and all that. If you're going to do something like that, you should cast
like
people
desserts
of that ethnicity. I mean, what happens if we did not JFK, Martin Luther King, and cast a white person to play Martin Luther King? How fucked up would that be, and how pissed would black people be? If it's going to be true to what happened, you need to be true to the race of the person that was in it.
Yeah,
that's what I think.
And like, there's an Egyptian man, and there's Yul Brynner, and honestly, I don't know what to tell you. It's not that much of a difference. I get it, but dude, we're not saying that it was right back in the day. What we're saying was it was stupid back in the day, and okay, these are the people that say because somebody plays a mentally handicapped person, or they get after Brendan Fraser because he's not truly fat, and they're like, well, you're not fucking Egyptian, so why do you get to do it? It's because you're black. So if you're Chinese, black, Mexican, it doesn't matter. Puerto Rican, sorry, that's Mexican. So we're all the same. Then unfortunately, why do you get to do it? It's the same bullshit, man. It's ridiculous. It's stupid. So I don't know. It's like, how many Egyptian lead roles have you seen? I haven't seen many.
No.
There's that girl in Bend It Like Beckham, but she's Indian, so that doesn't count.
I just feel like Egyptians, my limited knowledge of them, their bone structure is like, they're like so beautiful. They just have like those cheekbones and like the jawline. I just think they're incredibly beautiful.
I concur. So
men and women both, like they're both just aesthetic. Like they just have like that.
The men are scumbags. Talent. Sorry. Egyptian
I
men
don't
are dicks.
know. I mean, I'm not talking about personality. I'm talking about the way they look. They just have that like beautiful complexion, beautiful. Oh, golly. That guy.
This guy. Wow. Is that the guy you're talking about?
Not so much.
Oh, I know which one. I'm sorry. Hold on. It's this guy. There he is.
Oh, yes, 100%.
Yeah.
The guy's good looking. Oh no, here it is. This is the guy. It's like, oh, hello. Would you like a Slurpee? Welcome to 7-Eleven. Hello. This guy looks like he has money.
Yeah.
Listen, fuck you, man. Nobody gets away with it on this show. I don't care who you are. I am equal. I discriminate against everybody. I don't care, white, black, brown, indifferent, Jew, Gentile, man, woman, child. I don't give a shit. Everybody gets made fun of. If you don't like it, get off the show. But is this the guy? Is it because he has 12 oil rigs and he's worth about 17 billion? I don't know.
Did they actually criticize the movie that Brendan Fraser is in because he's not actually fat?
Yes.
Are you freaking serious?
Yeah.
You can't be fat in Hollywood. Who are they going to hire?
No, that's true.
Well,
6
months prior to that, they were on Bryan Cranston for playing a paraplegic when he himself is not paralyzed. So I mean, that's the ebb and flow of Hollywood.
Freaking, we need to cancel Hollywood. This is so fucking stupid.
This guy doesn't look like an Egyptian.
Actually, a lot of actors are coming out and basically saying, "Look, I do not support this." I think it was very recently Tom Hanks came out and basically said that he was not in support of kind of, pardon the pun, but whitewashing certain parts of Hollywood. Like he didn't want to see any characters recast.
There's the one Amy's talking about, right, Amy? There he is.
I have client. I have it's a husband and wife, and they have a little baby girl, and they're from Egypt. And I don't know, they're like the most. I like when I first met them. I'm like, y'all are like stunning. Like the whole family is just stunningly beautiful. So that's my only like true life.
I can see that.
Like reference. Yeah.
I'm just picking the worst pictures off Google. It's horrible. Here's one. Here, like this guy. This
AI.
This guy is
asked the Bing robot to show me the most racist.
Right. This guy's double O mummy. There he is.
He looks like he's gonna kill people.
Oh yeah.
Right. He's just like he's
assassin.
I'll take a piece of baklava and some yakuza shaken not stirred.
Yeah.
No, it's not yakuza. Shit, it's a Greek licorice.
Secret Service.
Uzo. That's what it is.
Oh, I love Uzo.
Greek,
I don't love it.
It's like, Greek. Greek, Egypt. It's all the same thing. I'm Greek. I can say that. So I don't know if you knew that. Did you know that? I have Greek in me.
I think you told us that before. Yeah, sounds right.
My grandma was 100%. Great grandma was 100. Grandma was 50. My mom was 25. So I guess that makes me 12.5% Greek. And that's when I get in the sun, you see it. It's like you get the olive skin going on. Legs are definitely like from the waist down. Well, in the waist area, I'm black. From the thighs down, I'm German white. My legs can't get tan. And then the rest of it. Oh, you think I'm racist? Look at Olivia. Holy shit. There she is.
Oh wow.
Is that more your guy?
Rami,
Yes.
what's his name?
I don't know.
It was Night at the Museum.
Rami Raskin. I don't know.
He was playing King Tut.
Yeah.
He was Akman Ra, wasn't he? Yeah.
No, that was his brother. That was what's his? Oh,
I thought he played Akman Ra. No, he was King Tutankhamun,
he was
right?
King Tut, and then
King Tutankhamun. That's what I just said.
And then his older brother, number 2, and that was
number 2, the Deuce.
No, what was his name? What's his name? I can't.
Amun Ra.
No, the actor who played him.
Oh, I don't care about that shit. I don't know. Is Jizzy Gillespie? I don't know.
No, he was also an American sweetheart.
All right, I don't know. Who cares? Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
The guy has
yes.
He was in Mystery Alaska. Oh, I love him. He's so good.
What's his name?
Damn it, I don't know.
I'm gonna find out.
You go find out. All right. So listen, folks. Sorry. Thanks for the warm up. All right, let's get to it. We got a lot to get to tonight, and we're gonna go fast because I hope you guys are all happy.
I gotta tell you guys.
Oh yeah, you do your thing. You got to do your thing. Do your thing. Go ahead.
Really quick. This is not about my son either. This is about me. So I've never been to Tammy's Diner, even though it's 5 minutes down the road. So for Mother's Day, I get to pick the restaurant, and so I chose Tammy's because I've always wanted to go. So we finally went on Sunday for brunch. Just had to let you guys know. Finally made it to Tammy's.
Why didn't you call us?
I thought about it. And as we were driving by your house, I was like, I should text them. But I was like, it's Mother's Day. And it was, mid-morning.
We weren't doing anything.
I know. I saw that your cars were there. And I was like, I don't know what they're doing. I don't want to bother them. So it was just very low-key anyway.
Real quick, who said something? Someone got banned? Somebody said the algorithm picked something up. What happened? I don't understand.
I don't know. There was a spammer in here.
There was a what? I know there was a spammer in here, but we got them, I thought. Steve Martin played Tutankhamun.
In a different movie. Steve Martin wasn't in.
That was on SNL.
Yeah. Hank Azaria.
Hank Azaria. He's great.
Yeah.
Do you guys know who Hank Azaria is?
Yeah.
And if you don't, you'll know it right when I show you the picture. He's just amazing, dude. He's a multifaceted, high quality actor. I love him. He's great. This guy. He's Egyptian too. All right, now that we've got.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No, he's not. I was lying. There's no Egyptians in Hollywood.
So
that's the problem.
Italianish.
There aren't any. That's hilarious. Can anyone think? Okay, you know what? Hold on. Watch this.
Let's see if there's any Egyptian actors.
What about that guy from Iron Eagle who was the villain, right? And he was also in like
fucking you racist bastard. He was freaking a Muslim. He's also a Jew. He's not. I don't think he's even Muslim. No, I know who he is. The bald guy. Yeah, he was also in Executive Decision with freaking Kurt Russell. I know who you're talking about, bro.
Oh, Rami Malek.
Hold on a second. You can't spoil my stuff, man.
Sorry.
I'm looking it up.
So bad.
God. All right. I got to get the pictures. All right. So let's see. Oh, yeah. The ever all-knowing Payman Mahdi. Okay. Here's one. No, I don't know any of these people.
Rami Malek is Egyptian.
Who?
The one who played King Tut in Night at the Museum.
Okay, that doesn't matter.
So,
He's the only one. I'm looking right now. There's no Persians in Hollywood, folks. I think, you know how people say Hollywood's anti-Semitic? I think they're anti-Persian.
Omar Sharif was Egyptian, but he passed already.
Yeah, see, they got him. They took him out.
got him?
Omar Sharif. All right, let's get to this. We got too much to do. Matthew Broderick. Yes, Matthew Broderick is Egyptian. That's correct. No, Karen says, oh, I like that actor. He was in Godzilla with Matthew Broderick. Okay.
Gotcha. Okay.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. The cameraman in that movie.
I have no idea. But we're gonna go ahead and watch this. All right, so let's get to this first because there's some crazy shit going on here. This is Mayorkas, and you guys remember that Eli Crane blew this kid apart, Mayorkas. And I say kid because intellectually, the guy survives because he doesn't say anything more than one or two sentences. And when he says it, there's absolutely no passion. There's no emotion. And it's like talking to a proctologist. He just doesn't, he's all right. There's not a lot of bedside manner. You know, it's like, whoa, you using your whole fist, Doc? A little Chevy Chase. Listen to this.
The president yesterday at his commencement address for the Howard University graduates called white supremacy the major domestic terror threat in this country. Is that correct?
It tragically is. You know, in the terrorism context, domestic violent extremism is our greatest threat right now. Individuals are driven to violence because of ideologies of hate. Anti-government sentiments, false narratives, personal grievances, and the like. And regrettably, we have seen a rise in white supremacy.
I think he's Persian.
Maybe. His name's Alejandro. I bet he's Mexican.
It's Mayorkas. It's Greek. It's got to be.
I can look it up.
It doesn't matter, but look it up anyway. So I want to get your thoughts. Is it true that white supremacy is the single-handedly the biggest threat to America? Now, don't bring up the economy and stuff like that. We're talking about from a demographic of people. Is white supremacy the biggest threat to the United States?
Well, that was
okay. Why not?
I was going to ask that question. I mean, statistically, there's more people who identify as white, right? So wouldn't that be the biggest demographic? Is that what, like, it doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, statistically, if you're talking about violence against white people versus violence against black people and who commits those crimes, it has to be all broken down. So I don't have all the numbers, but I don't think that's accurate.
Well, let's have a conversation about it. So that's what we're here to do. Leroy, you said no. So tell me why.
White as a percentage of the population, white people are certainly they still hold the majority position, right? But I think it's been debunked that moving forward, like we would retain that. I want to say that by, I think it was like 2040, 2050, whites will be a minority in this country. So is white supremacy something like, I mean, in today's age, I mean, are you talking about like the 10 people in Mississippi that still gallivant around wearing white hoods? Or are you talking, you know what I mean? Like there needs to be more of a discussion on it, but there needs to be more specifics in the discussion brought up about it. And I don't see white supremacy as a threat to the security of the United States at this point.
All right, so let's look at the numbers here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and read off a city, and you're going to tell me whether it's Democrat or Republican. Okay, ready? On the count of three. Washington D.C.
Democratic.
Democrat.
Right. No, not Democratic. It's Democrat. Right. So we don't want to say Democratic because that's a misnomer. 21.6 hate crimes per 100,000 people in our nation's capital. Wow, these fucking politicians are really getting to the issue, considering it's happening in their backyard. How about this? Los Angeles, California, Democrat or Republican?
Democrat.
15.5 per 100,000. How about San Francisco?
Democrat.
Totally Democrat.
How to speak San Franciscan. Vagina. Yeah, San Francisco. 12.8. Columbus, Ohio.
That's Dem.
That's Dem. 12.6. San Jose, California, folks.
Democrat.
How about Denver, Colorado?
Democrat.
So sad. Democrat.
9.5. How about Sacramento, California?
Democrat.
8.8. How about Phoenix?
I have no idea what I was
Democrat.
Yep, it's Democrat. New York City?
Democrat.
That's a no-brainer.
And how about Chicago?
That's also a no-brainer.
Well, once again, every time the fucking liberals want to talk about crime, they fail to expose themselves as the culprit in the issue. It makes me wonder why. Anybody want to take a stab at why they continue to keep bringing this stuff up? Why would they?
Because if they told the truth, they wouldn't have a political leg to stand on.
Correct.
Yeah.
They're trying to win back their black vote that they lost.
No, they're trying to create division. Here are the ethnic numbers. Right.
Here's the way Mayorkas was Cuban.
Mayorkas is Cuban?
Yes.
He's Greek. He should be Greek.
Oh, is he?
Total number of race, ethnicity, ancestry, single bias incidents in 2019 and 2020. Purple is here, and that is anti-black. There were 1,930 anti-black hate crimes, 2,871 in 2020. However, anti-white are 666. Don't let that bother you, folks, the mark of the beast. But they went up to 869, which is interesting. You're looking at 200 more here, and you're looking at 900 more here. The ratio to proportion is equivalent. Anti-Latino, well, everyone just hates Latinos the same, I guess, 527 to 517. And anti-Asian sentiment went up. Well, why? Because of COVID-19. So the thing is this.
Yeah.
Why are there more anti-black hate crimes compared to... Sure.
Does it have the percentages or the breakdown of who committed the crimes against these races?
Wouldn't that be an interesting stat, considering that more Latinos commit hate crimes against blacks than whites do? Interesting. Right. That is a very good point. But of course, you don't hear that.
Right.
And that's the issue, is we never hear this. When we look at hate crimes over motivations, hate crime reporting from 2020 revealed 8,052 single bias incidents involving 11,126, a distribution of victims and bias types. Gender identity was 2.7, disability was 1.4, gender itself was 0.7, religion was 13.3, sexual orientation was 20%, and race and ethnicity was 61.8%. Here's the problem, is the overall black population, 12 to 17%, depending upon what the new census is going to say. We're going to say about 16% owns a very large portion of the hate crimes against. That is because, whether you know this or not, it is easier to actually classify a hate crime against a black person based on a hate crime against a white person, where if a black person attacks a white person, they specifically have to say, I attacked them because they were white. What a white person has to say is anything considered racial, and it's considered a hate crime. Very different standards. It's very difficult to go ahead and to have a hate crime considered against you when you're white. You can call them a cracker. You can call them a honky. You can call them whitey. And none of that qualifies. You specifically have to say, I committed a crime against them because they were white or Anglo-Saxon or Christian in order to be classified as a hate crime. Seems like kind of a double standard, but it makes you wonder the question, that is an inordinately small number. There are 332 million people in the United States of America, and you have a total amount of hate crimes at 5,600. How is this the great, you know what? To be honest with you, dog attacks are a bigger threat to the United States. Botulism is a bigger threat to the United States.
The flu.
The flu is a bigger threat to the United States.
COVID
Heart
still a
disease. Yeah. Well,
know.
how about this? How about that they say that the American youth, the biggest threat to American youth is gun violence. Right. But who makes up 98% of that gun violence? It is the inner city neighborhoods, blacks against blacks. That's the truth. Now, just because we're talking about race and ethnicity and religion, it doesn't mean that we're racist, folks. It just means that you need to look at the stats. And when you look at crime, yes, white people own a shit ton of crime in the United States. But the interesting thing is that so do black people at 12 to 16% of the population own as much as the felony-based crimes, which are violent crime, rape, murder, grand larceny, all those type of things are equally proportionate between blacks and whites. In fact, African Americans own more when it comes to certain parts of those demographics, like murder and robbery. So it's really important to understand is that you can't associate hate crime with the color of somebody's skin necessarily and put that label on everybody. You can certainly hold a certain group of people accountable for their actions, but to sit here and say that domestic terrorists, aka parents, are the biggest threat in the United States is a complete farce. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
When we're talking about something like, forecasting statistics based on division like that, I just, I'm kind of, considering the statistics that we just looked at with regard to blue cities, and the inflammatory nature behind those statistics, at least from the Democrat point of view, I'd like to see what CRT would bring to the table in like 5 or 10 years in blue cities and what that would do, pushing those statistics.
Right.
Well, considering how close we live to DC, I would not like to see that.
Right. I wouldn't either. Here's the active hate groups in the United States. Now, I want to see if you guys find something interesting here. You ready? Ku Klux Klan. There's 130 active Ku Klux Klan groups with basically 3,000.
How did they get that number? I'm just curious.
That's the point. If they are that's FBI, that's data, that's intelligence. But there's only 3,000 active Ku Klux Klan members in the United States with 130 active groups. So you're basically looking at 3 members per group would be 390. So you're looking at less than 30 members per group, 28 members per group. My little block around my neighborhood could take them all out. Then you've got neo-Nazis, 99 neo-Nazi groups, 100 white nationalist groups. Now, what's the difference? Racist skinheads, 78. Right. Isn't that an oxymoron? What the how is that different than white nationalists?
And neo-Nazi.
Christian identity. What the fuck? Neo-Confederates, black separatists, 193 black separatist groups. Look at that. That is more than the Ku Klux Klan and neo-Nazis. Well, wait a second. I just thought they said,
yeah,
that white domestic terrorism was the biggest.
Doesn't add up there.
How about this? How about anti-LGBTQ 52, anti-Muslim? Do you want to know who owns a lot of those anti-LGBT LGBT groups? African Americans, anti-Muslims.
This is from the Southern Poverty Law Center. I just realized that.
Yeah, that's why I'm showing it to you, because they're not including, when they say black separatists, they are saying it's white people who want to remove groups. I want you to look at the following. Let me see if I can find this. So if we go ahead and look at this, these are active Black Panther groups in the U.S. Here, so we can get a bigger picture. Damn it, I can't get a bigger picture. Hold on. I'm going to show it to you. See if I can find it here. Yeah, this is the best map, and it's not that good.
Kim has a good point. She says, where do street gangs fall on that map?
What? Who?
Kim Salvo says, "Where do street gangs fall on this map?"
Right.
Totally makes
You got to
sense,
look
yeah.
at that too. I mean, is crime hate? I think so.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm going to do all. I can't stand the Southern Poverty Law Center because they completely they thumb the scale, you know, and they send out a shit ton of stuff out here in the U.S. But when you look at this map right here, this shows you the United States overlaid us, and these are all supposedly white groups in the United States. There's the Patriot Front, the European Heritage. It's ridiculous. Because I will tell you, I've never seen any of these groups.
Same.
I don't know about anybody else.
And I feel like if people were going to see these groups, Matt and I would be like at the top of that list of these of us, or Matt and Olivia and I guess I should say, because we live in a suburb of Washington, D.C., but we're still considered part of the South.
Right.
Even though I don't know. I don't feel like we're Southern here in Virginia, but we're so rural. We're out in the country. So you would think if anyone was going to see one of these white hate groups, it would be one of us three. I mean, Leroy, I mean, you're out in Ohio too. That's not super. I mean, yeah, I've never
Southern
seen any.
Ohio.
Yeah, so it's like I don't know. I've never been to Ohio, so I don't really know much about it, but that's fine too.
The problem that I have is that when you look at this and hate crime rate and the hate groups, it's all in major liberal cities that you're seeing this. Right. Now, yes, there's some in Oklahoma, there's some in Northern Phoenix, but the whole thing they're saying, it doesn't jive. Because listen, I know there's groups that have problems with people of color, and there always has been, but the level of attention we're bringing to it now versus where it was in the 60s is insanity. Yes, there are more groups, but to say it's single-handedly, how can illegal immigrants coming over the border not be a big threat? How can having sleeper cell and militia groups in the United States not be a big threat?
Well, according to the Democrats, there's no one coming over the border. So
well, right, but we all know that that's not true. And how can we not assume that gangs are a big issue and violence and crime? I mean, here, this is 2015, but take a look here. Texas, 84. Okay, you would assume that. Louisiana, Mississippi, but look at California, 68 groups. 68, 44 in New York, 40 in Pennsylvania, 32 in Virginia. I mean, and then you go to Michigan, 19. I mean, it's not like every single state has hate groups involved. And what do we consider Antifa?
Well, I would consider Antifa a hate group.
Yeah. And to everyone's point here collectively, and to kind of reiterate what I was just saying about the hate groups that they're identifying here, I have never met anyone who's even known anyone who identifies with one of these hate groups. However, I know several people that are not currently that have been not in a gang, but I can't say the word.
Juxtaposition or juxtapose.
Yeah, juxtapose. They're not in a gang, but they are closely related to the outskirts of it. So I'm aware of some of those things. And I also am friends with some police officers here, and I'm aware of some of the gang activity. There's a higher concentration of gang activity here on the rural suburbs of no man's land than I've ever heard about any like white hate or hate groups at all. Just any kind of hate groups.
I just don't understand why you can sit here and only list white hate groups. And it's just like the whole thing that they say, you know, only white people can be racist. Well, I guess only white people can hate. True. It's such a lie. Well, there aren't any. Go look at all the FBI. Nobody classifies any groups other than white groups. And Antifa, they're saying that they have anywhere from 30,000 to 300,000 members. How is that not the largest hate group? And why aren't they being included? Oh, because Antifa is not real. Bullshit.
Right.
Bullshit. They're not real. But anyway, last slide, and this one's interesting. The states with the most hate groups: California, Florida, Texas, New York, Virginia, Georgia, Tennessee, Pennsylvania, Illinois, and North Carolina. Some of those
I
surprising.
bet in Florida, it's mostly a group of hate against the snowbirds. That's what I bet. They just don't want the Northerners to go down there during the winter months.
They don't want the silver foxes.
funny.
So I think it's a dangerous thing. This is very reminiscent of 2020, right? If we don't go ahead and ensure that Donald Trump doesn't win, our democracy will fail. Well, if we don't ensure that we stop these neo-Nazi fascist groups like the extreme MAGA Republicans, and even though they won't say that, that's what they're insinuating, we're going to lose our democracy yet again. And I'm so fucking sick of hearing it.
Yeah.
Anyone who is white, you have lived on that throne for a long time, but to say that in the last decade that white men and now white women are somehow superior in the workforce, superior in demographics and financial opportunity, I don't think you've been white. And I think you need to understand is that I'm not woe-is meing, because I think we're going to be just fine. But if you take a look at every one of my peers at Apple, that we had 32 white male store leaders out of, 700 remaining have all been fired, removed, let go, or replaced with somebody not white. I think you can ask yourself the question, And I think you can look at Starbucks and look at their demographic. It's okay for equity, I guess. It's okay for equality in the workplace. But when you specifically don't hire one race of people so you can hire another race of people, isn't that the whole thing we're trying to avoid? And how does that make any sense?
Right.
It doesn't. But this fear about race, specifically about white people, racism. I mean, that's been kind of their mantra for the last 30, 40 years is, our brand is crisis. It's anything that can be done to divide the country amongst the sexes, amongst the colors, is something that will be leveraged in the political realm, right? To gain a little bit of fear, and then they will throw out that tagline, just what Matt was talking about, is we're the only ones that can save democracy. I hate that.
Obviously.
Really hate it. It's distasteful.
You hate it?
What
group are you a part of, Leroy?
What's that?
I was just making fun. He said, I hate it. And I said, what group are you a part of?
Well, this
all the groups.
This is a prime example of exactly what you're talking about. And this leads into the comment you just made to a T. Listen to this shit.
We know that American history has not always been a fairy tale. From the start, it's been a constant push and pull for more than 240 years between the best of us,
don't talk, guys,
the American ideal that we're all created equal, and the worst of us, the harsh reality that racism has long torn us apart. It's a battle that's never really over. But on the best days, enough of us have the guts and the hearts to stand up for the best in us, to choose love over hate, unity over disunion, progress over retreat, to stand up against the poison of white supremacy, as I did my inaugural address, to single out as the most dangerous terrorist threat to our homeland is white supremacy. We can finally resolve those ongoing questions about who we are as a nation. That puts strength of our diversity at the center of American life.
Pandering motherfucker. Strength. Really, Joe? Really, Joe? Oh, hold on. We can't talk right now because if we talk, it's going to blare. So I got it pumped up. So hold on a second.
A future that celebrates and learns from history. A future for all Americans. A future I see you leading, and I'm not, again, exaggerating. You are going to be leading it. Again, let's be clear. There are those that don't see you and don't want this future. There are those who demonize and pit people against one another. And there are those who do anything and everything, no matter how desperate or immoral, to hold on to power. And that's never going to be an easy battle. But I know this: the oldest, most sinister forces may believe they'll determine America's future, but they are wrong. We will determine America's future.
I swear that motherfucker should be in clan robes. I mean,
tell he rehearsed the last part.
I'd
'cause
like
it's
to thank
only
the
part
Academy.
Yeah, he only said
Dude.
that the last part of emotion. We were wrong. Like that's the only part they had him rehearse. Like really show emotion and be like a real human on this part. You know.
I swear to God, if you took, and I'm not kidding, like if you just
It's not
it's
not hyperbole, Matt.
No, man. Just put a clan robe on put a clan hood
Right.
on him.
Right.
And
Right.
he looks like a grand wizard. This guy eulogized 4 clan members. Drop the N-word. I can't do we have some racist stuff, please? Just give me some racist Joe, the greatest hits. Give me a couple of them.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
And I want to interject something here. Do you think that you guys are going to be like, no, of course not. But do you think that they let him write this speech and most of it's his words because he's very vague, and then they throw in at the end, you know, a couple times like, well, we can't, but that's not how I am. It's like he's talking so vaguely in the beginning part and saying, you know, we have to be this way, but he doesn't say which side he's on. You know, until like he throws in like 2 times, like, well, we can't do this and that's not right. It's very like telling in a way.
Well, I will tell you that Joe Biden does not write his own speeches in any way, shape, or no, but you know, you made the comment. I'm just letting you know, no, in no way, shape, or form has he ever. This is him with Bird holding hands. He's eulogized Strom Thurmond, George Wallace, Robert Byrd, and others. And the guy was for busing black kids into ghetto out of white schools. The guy's a fucking racist. He was against.
Absolutely.
He says he marched in civil rights. That's a complete fallacy and lie. Guy was never, ever seen marching in civil rights, and everything he's done. Do we have the Delaware one? It's My State of Delaware sound clip. She's
grabbing that. Well, she's grabbing that. I just want to say it's because racism is such a hard label to get removed. So for the Dems to basically try and label every Republican as racist, that's a label it takes so much effort to get removed that you literally can't do it within a 4-year period. And that's why they win.
Better than anybody else. And you don't know my state. My state was a slave state. My state is a border state. My state is the 8th largest black population in the country. My state is anything from a Northeast liberal state.
Yeah. Listen, the biggest lie that the Democrats tell is that Republicans are not the party of Lincoln, that we're not the party of the Underground Railroad, that we're not the party of anti-Japanese internment camps, that we're not the party of civil rights, that we're not the party of anti-Jim Crow laws. And if you just look at the history up until Chicago in the 1960s till 1970s, where 300,000 Ku Klux Klan members were at Democratic rallies supporting Democrats, the lie that they are not Klan, and still I understand that white nationalist groups have moved from the Democratic Party, and we understand that they now support Republicans. Well, the reason why is, let's just be honest, blacks do less for Republicans, and that's obvious because the inner cities and everything else, they all vote for Democrats. And the Klan and these racist groups are fucking idiots. And they go, well, we're not going to associate because Democrats are the party of black people. Of course they're not going to join. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But that doesn't mean that all the culture and ideology that's been inherent in the Democratic Party for the last 200 years has left, because the same shit is happening. It's the Great Society. Just read LBJ and his comments about the Great Society, and that is exactly what's taking place in inner cities today with the black vote from Democrats. So you can say anything you want about Republicans, but if you don't address your own party's racism and racial history that is still present today, you're not fooling anybody. Nobody takes the Ku Klux Klan seriously. Nobody takes the skinheads seriously anymore. Anyway, I figured you would want to see that about Joe Biden because I found it extremely funny. I
think we have a liberal in the group tonight.
Oh, great. What did the liberal have to say?
Her name is Shannon Lang, I think. The only color most conservatives care about is green.
Yeah. Well,
the Green New Deal. Yeah, we're all supportive of it.
That's what we could. The Green New Deal. Yeah, we're big on that. $91 trillion. Yep, the Green New Deal. The Green Card. We care about the Green Card. The Green Party. That? No, we care about Greenpeace and the Green Party. Those are true. Yep. What exactly are you talking about? Oh, money. Oh, you're right.
So if that is,
go ahead, Leroy.
If greed is the problem, well, who said this? Who said this again?
Her name's Shannon Lang.
Shannon Lang. If greed is truly the issue, then. If you think that all that Republicans care about is money, and greed is the issue, then that would be the one motivating factor that says that I don't care what a person's skin color is in order for me to do business with them. Is that correct? And if that's the case, then it's the most noble of motivations to be able to say, look, I'm going to deal with that person, even though I may not like them, but I'm going to do business with them because I'm greedy. Boy, that almost sounds, I don't know, benevolent.
Here's the problem is when you say that all that conservatives care about is green, I think it's a good point. Because I would agree with you that that's all conservatives should care about. Because fiscal spending is probably the largest party platform that we have. And with limited government, immediately comes limited spending. However, it's antithetical to that now. Because Republicans are just as bad at spending money wastefully as Democrats, because we have not balanced the budget since Kennedy. And so both parties are guilty. Now, it's interesting to me that you say this, considering that Hillary Clinton spent $2.5 billion in 2016 for her race. I consider that to be a waste of money. You guys have spent $52 million, actually $57 million on witch hunts against Trump when it comes to the Mueller investigation, which found nothing. Right. And the Bragg, which will find absolutely nothing. The Georgia case, which will find absolutely nothing. And you guys are guilty of it too. Just like the Hillary Clinton, is that you are expecting government officials who are all crooked to hold each other accountable. And it's interesting why you single out Republicans in particular for wasteful spending. I mean, it's not, maybe I'm wrong, but you guys have spent $10.2 trillion since Donald Trump and Joe Biden have, at the start of 2019 until now, is a ridiculous number that you guys own just as much as Trump does. Now, you can sit here and say you needed to spend that to kickstart the economy. How's that working out for you, sister? So when you say all Republicans care about is green, I think what you're trying to say is that you're politically entrenched and your myopic viewpoint only allows you to see the good that Democrats do and only the bad that Republicans do. I think that's what you're trying to say. So you could probably say that a little more eloquently besides blowing sunshine up everybody's asses and just say the truth. You don't like Republicans, and that's fine. You can say that. But what you don't get to do is piss on me and tell me it's raining. It's just not the way it works. If you would like to, you can certainly call in and we can have this conversation. We can talk about fiscal spending. Let's talk about.
Apparently, she is a longtime listener, and everyone's defending her and saying that that's not what she meant. But she hasn't come back to clarify the comment.
Well, who is it?
Her name's Shannon.
No,
Lang,
she said
LA.
she just commented. She just literally just commented. She said, "Yes, it was a skin color comment. I am not even close to being liberal, nor am I a woman, but it's cool."
You're not a woman. And Shannon, you've been on this show for a long time. If your name is Shannon, no offense, you're going to be considered a woman by most people. And if your lizard eye is still your avatar, which I know it is, the red scaly thing with the blue eye, that doesn't depict, considering that most dragons are asexual in the fantasy realm. Depends if you're TSR or Forgotten Realms or D&D or Tolkien, but whatever. We don't have to go into that. But I'm not saying you're a liberal, but when you said all that Republicans care about is green, then you're maybe your comment should be all politicians only care about is green, because all they do is care about money, power, and votes. And when you make a comment which is extremely focused on one side of political ideology, of course, the antithetical view would be that you're a Democrat. So I'm not sure what you're saying.
Shannon could be a boy's name. Yes, Shannon was a popular boy's name in like the late 60s, 70s, maybe early 80s.
No, that's not. Okay, I got to interrupt. That's not the fucking point. The fucking point is, don't have an avatar out of a dragon and then be the name Shannon and anticipate that people confusing your name is somehow foreign to you, that it doesn't happen every single day. So you don't get to do that, right? Oh, well, that's what Democrats do, right? That is what Democrats do, is that they lay a trap. Notice me, and then you notice them. Oh, don't you notice me, you white oppressing male? How dare you notice me? If your name's Shannon, we're going to assume that your name's Shannon. And yes, there are probably men out there called Sue as well. As we know, Johnny Cash wrote a great song about it, but it doesn't mean it's the norm. And if you don't have an avatar that identifies your sex or race, color, creed, well, you're going to be a woman. So that's just the way it is. What's the number? I already gave it to you. I already put it in the chat 5 times.
It's 804-504.
If you're a long time listener, it's not. No, it's not. Anymore. We don't do the number anymore.
Oh, it's not?
Click the link, call my show right there on your phone or on your desktop and call in. And that's how you call into the show. You click the link. Bill Borski says, Shannon can be a man's name too.
Yeah,
I don't give a shit. Then fucking put a male avatar on there.
Yeah, and that's my point. And that was what I was trying to say. It was a popular men's name 40 or 50, 60 years ago. It's not. Now it's known as a woman's name. That's what I'm saying. Oh my God, I can't. That was
people are bothering me. Dawn says, Bill Borski, this is true. Shannon, Chris, Pat. Yes, but Dawn can be a man's name too, right? But you have a female picture up with your chihuahua. It's not hard for me to tell that you're a woman. And I understand that no man spells it DAWN. But in today's day and age, you know what? Just put your own fucking picture up there, man, so people know. Otherwise, you're going to be confused if you have a non-binary name. How about that? Does that make you feel better?
Shannon definitely, when I think of the name Shannon, I think about a girl, but I do know boy Shannon. I mean, Hayden, our daughter, is also a boy name, and it's more popular for boys. So every time I would make a doctor's appointment or a dentist appointment, or even going to school, every time I had to do something, they all said he to me. I said, no, it's a she. I would have to be very clarified that it is a girl, and people would still mistake it. I never once got frustrated or pissed or upset or claimed sexism because they had not met her yet, and it's on the phone, and they say he. I never once got mad. You guys
need to wipe your fucking vaginas.
I knew that would
just grab some Kleenex and wipe your vagina off. Seriously, go get some Massengale, douche regularly, and come back when you have that fresh feeling. Are you fucking? Why are we talking about this? You have Shannon in your name. You're a woman. Okay, sorry. Until you have an avatar that shows that you're a man, I'm going to call you a woman. And even then, I'm going to assume that you just watch over your wife and you're completely like just fucking controlling, and you're not a guy. It's still a woman's account. Oh, don't you love those people that are like Bob and Melissa Smith, and you're like, Come on, Bob. Let her off the leash just a little bit. You think you can let her out of the freaking basement for 5 minutes? Enough. Who gives a shit? Just Massengale up. Summer's Eve. Go swim with dolphins and sail on a sea of wheat in a white dress and just clean yourself off and come back when you're not being a complete vagina. Can we watch the fucking video now? Or is that going to offend our delicate, non-binary sensibilities?
Well, Shannon says he says he's not upset. So whatever.
I don't really. Shannon, you've been on this show for a long time. I don't give a shit. And I've assumed you've been female for 2.5 fucking years. So imagine how I feel. You know, I have misgendered you for 2.5 years. Go figure. Shannon, I know you're not upset. I'm not. You know, I'm not upset. You've been watching me for a long time. So now I know you're a guy. And thank you for not being an asexual lizard anymore. Here we go. Let's listen to this.
Sarah, developing over just the last few minutes, the man accused of killing a homeless street artist on a New York City subway surrendered to police. There's the pictures of it right there. He is inside the precinct now. We expect to see him again very shortly as he heads to court. Daniel Penny is facing second-degree manslaughter charges in connection with the death of Jordan Neely. Neely died after Penny put him in a chokehold on that subway. Witnesses say on May 1st, Neely got on the train acting erratically. They say he was shouting at passengers, but there are no reports that he physically attacked anyone. Then video shows Penny wrapping his arms around Neely's neck, forcing him to the ground. Witnesses say he held him there for several minutes until Neely stopped breathing. His death was ruled a homicide, though it took nearly 2 weeks to file charges. The video sparked protests and calls from the city's mayor to revamp services for the homeless. Neely was known by many in New York City for his Michael Jackson impersonations. His family tells CNN he had been suffering from mental health issues since 2007 when he found his mother's body inside a suitcase. In recent years, Neely had been put on the city's top 50 list of homeless people with acute needs. His funeral will be held next Friday, Kate.
And Penny's lawyers have previously said that he risked his life to save other passengers. And just after Penny arrived at the precinct last hour, his attorneys spoke to reporters and cameras that were standing outside. CNN's Omar Jimenez is outside the police precinct. You were there as Penny entered. What are his attorneys saying today?
Omar's Egyptian, by the way.
Yeah, Kate, they're saying a little bit of what we heard from in their statement, saying that this was someone, their client, Daniel Penny, was someone who was defending not just himself, but those in the subway car around. Now, people that have been protesting argue the absolute opposite. Now, he's been inside this police precinct behind me here for about an hour. He got here a little bit after 8 a.m. Eastern time, walked in, did not. Now, he's
Listen to this.
Protesting argue the but those in the subway car around. Now, people that have been protesting argue the absolute opposite. Now,
how the fuck would the people protesting know? Were they there? Then why are you lending credence to the protesters? All you're doing is creating division. This is why CNN is full of shit as a Christmas goose. You just said, that's like saying this. Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, Iran has a nuclear weapon. They've achieved their fusion reactor. They have their uranium rods. They now have a nuclear weapon. Holy shit. Thanks, Joe. What are we hearing from Amy Robinson in Virginia? Hold on. Amy says that it's really improbable that Iran has a nuke, and she doesn't think it's true. Thank you so much. We're going to go ahead and go with that. So really, the argument is, folks, half the people in the intelligence community across the world, MI6, Red Brigade, CIA, all of them are all Assad. They're all, lined up. Or Mossad is all lined up saying that Iran has a nuke. But however, the other half of the population, which is made up of Amy Robinson, says that it's not true, folks. And we'll be getting back to you in just a moment. Thank you so much. Let's go ahead and see what people have to say about the groundhog and seeing his shadow, and if Amy Robinson saw her shadow this morning, to find out what's going to happen.
He's been inside this police precinct behind me here for about an hour. He got here a little bit after 8 a.m. Eastern time, walked in, did not say anything, despite some shouts from reporters, wearing a suit with some Vans as he walked in. Seemed
is he wearing
at least
Klan
calm
robes
on the outside, but of course we don't know
Right.
everything that's happening on the inside as well. As we understand, is to face a charge.
He's a
of
ginger.
secondary
He's a ginger. He
manslaughter.
doesn't
Shortly
care.
after
He doesn't have a
went in,
conscience.
his attorney, one of his attorneys, Thomas Kniff, came out and gave a statement which actually may give us a brief glimpse into part of their strategy in their defense here. Take a listen.
Ugh.
Why is he rocking a microphone from 1970? Do you think CNN is running low on money? Let's go back to that real quick.
He's dealing with the situation, like I said, with the sort of integrity and honor that is characteristic of who he is, characteristic of his honorable service in the United States Marine Corps, and he has held up.
Now, Daniel Penny, 24-year-old U.S. Marine veteran. That's part of why his attorney referenced
It
that.
used to be
And
black,
on the
and it's
other
been
side
faded to
of
gray
things,
because it's been in the
Jordan
sun
Neal.
for 40 years.
His family attorneys are expected to make a statement a little bit later this morning to
Houston,
react.
let's make a
But they
deal.
have been calling for this arrest since this happened. Obviously, it's been more than a week's time at this point, and that's part of what's driven a lot of the protests here.
Oh,
that
look at
bottom
that
line,
sweet
people
picture.
feel that no matter what happened leading up to this chokehold, that they don't feel this should have resulted in death. But later on, he will be in court, expected to be arraigned as this process.
Olivia gets to go first. Olivia's pissed. Geez, hold on, for fuck's sakes. God, we haven't even, like, the body's not even freaking cold yet.
Well,
all right.
Usually I don't get to talk, so I'm jumping
Well,
in.
usually
ahead.
you don't talk, so you get to talk. So enjoy it. Go.
If his family cared so much about him, why was he homeless? Why didn't they get him the help? Why didn't they allow him to live at their home? And that just pisses me off. But it's going to affect people in the future being good Samaritans. No one's going to want to do it if they think that they're going to be arrested or sued because they touched someone wrong or whatever. No one's going to want to help people, and the crime's going to shoot up even more. That's what I think, and it's bullshit.
Yeah.
That's all you had for all day?
Yeah.
You've been amped up about this all day, and that's all you got?
Yeah.
Wow. That was short.
I want to add, can I add to
Please do.
Olivia's comment here? So I don't know about his family, but I know he was court ordered to be in rehab and receive psychiatric, or I don't know if it was like whatever, something to help his mental health issues. And he left the treatment facility, I think, in under 2 weeks. I might be wrong about that. He just left. Even though it was court ordered, he left. And after that, he also assaulted several people. The police, I think, tried to bring him in, from what I understand, after that. And then the judge just didn't look at his prior record and just let him go. I think that's how we ended up. I think that's how we ended up here. I might have that a little wrong, but I think that's the gist of it. He has a long arrest record.
42 different arrests.
Yeah, and I don't know what the threshold should be on that. I'm not a judge, but I think after a few times of being arrested, especially for crimes that are harming people with the intent to harm people, disrupt. I mean, yes, he at one point, was it 12 or 15 years ago, he was impersonating Michael Jackson. That's fine.
Right.
But
And those are all the pictures they use when he's clean cut and looks like Michael.
That's my point. And they were saying, well, people reported he was a street performer. Well, the most recent reports, which you can go online and see, are people like, oh, that's the guy who assaulted me. That guy tried to push me in front of a train a week before this happened. That guy tried to rob me. This guy assaulted me. He was harassing me on the subway platform. This guy tried to. There's all these other people, and it's not 2 or 3. There's at least 15 that I read that were different, according to social media, people who accused this man of assaulting them or trying to harm them or bring them some kind of unwanted, interaction. And, it's always sad when someone loses their life. I don't think any of us would disagree with that, but it's sad when someone loses their life, especially in this way. But this poor young guy who's now having to go through this court process and get an attorney, and God knows it's so expensive for an attorney, and defend his life for literally helping people who felt threatened and probably expressed like, oh my gosh, what's going on? And this guy was like, oh, I'll take care of it. I will take my training in knowledge of whatever that is, and he's not probably a professional chokehold person. I don't know. He's military, but that doesn't mean they teach you how to do a chokehold. I don't know. I'm not military. You guys are. But
I'll go into that.
yeah, so it's like this poor man is like, I'm going to step in and help all these innocent people who have paid their money, who are probably on their way to work or home or lunch or whatever it was. And now he's on trial or going to be on trial for literally helping many other lives. And unfortunately, one was lost, and that's sad. And but it's just it's a horror. I feel so bad for this. And what about the other two guys that were there? One was black and one was Hispanic, right?
Right, they're
What
racist
about
too.
guys?
I'm sure they have Nazi tattoos. We're just waiting for the pictures or for them to
I'm
hold them
annoyed.
down and Photoshop the photos. Here's my question: if pictures don't matter of him being homeless, then why the fuck are we using the most kindest, most thought-provoking and reminiscent days of Thriller and Billie Jean to go ahead and show him? If the picture doesn't matter, and they're saying that the homeless, don't look at him like he's homeless. Well, then why are we looking at him like he's a fucking hero?
Well, first of all,
here's
that
my
needs
problem.
great terminology.
Well,
unhoused person.
Oh,
because
yeah, I'm sorry.
In one of those explanations, it supports a narrative, and in the other, if you were just to show his cardboard box that he lived in the back alley, nobody would give a shit. That's why.
Well,
How about showing the picture of him when he was pleading guilty to punching a 67-year-old woman in the face?
What about the picture when, you could see him, and there's videos of him reacting to people in completely volatile and insane way. Listen to me. We are in a heightened sense of alert. So what you're saying is that we can't be armed, we can't defend ourselves, and that if this was in Florida, he wouldn't even have been arrested because of stand your ground. This guy came into a train. The eyewitnesses are saying that he was saying that he is ready to die, ready to go to jail. He doesn't have a house. He better get some food. And these guys were all freaking out. He got in the face of multiple people. He threatened violence. He looked like a vagrant. He wasn't dressed like, "Ooh, give me some cookies and give me some milk." No, that's not what he fucking did. He was insane. And the guy has been, comes in as a vagrant. He probably smells like somebody's left fucking foot. And he comes in and he's erratic, and they don't know if he has a knife. And you guarantee every single person, when he said, I'm ready to spend my life in prison, means the only thing he's going to do is murder. That to them is a viable threat. Now, the second thing, as far as Daniel Penny, I want to talk about this real quick. Leroy and I have been through, he's been through, I'll just tell you what I've been through. CQB training, basic hand-to-hand combat, Krav Maga, explosive ordnance, small weapons training and large weapons training, close quarter tactics, distance shooting. We can go on and on and on. So plenty of different variant type of specialities in modern warfare. However, that's not what an average everyday person goes through. And even though I've been through some of that, does not make me an expert. First of all, the chokehold that Daniel Penny applied was the most amateurish, unprofessional chokehold. It was not a rear naked chokehold. I've explained this. Were you guys on when I did this, Leroy and Amy, quickly? No?
Yep.
Okay, so he grabbed the bicep. He didn't put pressure on the back of the neck.
It's about cutting off the pressure. It's about cutting off the
aorta,
supply
not
of
the
blood
trachea.
to the brain, not crushing the windpipe.
Right. If he was doing it right, he would have put him out in 3 seconds, right? There's no reason this guy didn't know what he was doing. And honestly, it will probably come down to negligent homicide, if anything at all. This guy does not deserve to spend. Listen, I'm going to say this and then I'm going to be quiet. In the Roman days, this would have been settled the moment it happened. Neely would have been thrown into a pit in the gladiator games on probably his 5th grievance against the state. And Daniel Penny would have been probably invited to share a glass of wine and some grapes with Caesar. Okay? That's not today. We have law and order. You have to prove without a reasonable doubt that Daniel Penny's motive was to murder him, or knew that what he was doing was going to murder him, and that he did not in any way, shape, or form service aid to his victim. And he did. He put him in the prone position so he wouldn't vomit in his own windpipe and own trach. He moved his legs up into his chest to consider non-blood flow, but also to not restrict his breathing. He did everything he could with the basic limited knowledge that he had. And here's the biggest crux to this whole fucking thing, is that the African-American and Hispanic, I believe, you're right, Amy, have not been charged with anything, and they're accessories to involuntary manslaughter or second-degree manslaughter, and they have not been charged. This whole thing is from Bragg. This is another division witch hunt bullshit. And I'm telling you right now, if Daniel Penny was not a redhead, white, Irish Scotsman who was in the military, and he was any other race, color, or creed, this wouldn't be an issue. Second, if it was a woman,
if it was gotten any airplay.
If it was a woman who did it, who was an MMA fighter, we wouldn't even hear about this. They would have said, "Oh, she's a woman." Daniel Penny is not a yoked guy. He's skinny. He is not what a prototypical Marine looks like. He defended himself to the best of his ability and protected people on that train. And I honestly think this is fucking bullshit. And this is Bragg doing what Bragg always does. Instead of going after real criminals like this guy who's in this picture, who is a criminal and should have been in an institution.
Smooth criminal.
Yeah, he's a smooth criminal. There you go. Perfect summation. Go ahead, Leroy. Your turn.
Someone said that he was breathing when the paramedics got him.
Yep, that's true. He was. They chest tubed him and everything.
Sure. What I was going to say was, to not lose sight of the humanity of the situation. And what I mean by that is not necessarily just on the part of the victim, right? Nobody was really talking about Penny too much. To Matt's point, because of his military background, you have no idea. I don't know what this poor kid has gone through. And I would venture to say, because I've been in the military for a little while, that at some point, he has probably seen his fair share of threats, either to his friends or to him. And so, as a Marine, you get conditioned to react a certain way. And whether or not, you can kind of go by those rules of engagement, don't punch unless you get punched first. Right? Same thing can kind of apply here. If you're on a subway and someone gets in your face, you don't raise your hand to them until you get popped. Then game on. So I guess the big point here is that everyone has sympathy towards the victim, and sure they should, right? But if we're really talking about paying attention to the people who are suffering and to the people who are hypersensitive to threats like that, you don't know if this guy was abused in his earlier life or not. And so certainly people like this can have their own set of triggers as well. The whole thing is sad. It makes me sad. But I also really despise how the media is pitching this and really trying to put a particular slant on it to make it look like, this is another case of a white person taking the life of a black person. Because really that's what it comes down to when there's so much more that's at play here.
Yeah.
I don't have any sympathy for Neely. I have empathy for that he didn't receive the help that he deserved from his family, from the system, but his death, although tragic, was just a matter of time.
Right.
And I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I give a fuck, because I don't. I'm sorry. I don't care. I don't. I care about black youth who are being killed and in drive-bys and women and children who are in the inner city. I care about people who just vote for Donald Trump getting beat up. And I feel poor for victims. I don't feel bad for criminals. I don't. Kyle Rittenhouse, everyone says he's a hero. He's not a fucking hero. But I don't feel bad for the people who decided to fuck around and find out. You have a guy with an AR-15 and you want to go ahead and bring a skateboard and a small 9mm, you're going to lose. And Kyle Rittenhouse demonstrated exactly what a person who knows how to do with a rig that was $350, how to execute flawlessly against 3 attackers. He did his job. I don't feel for those people. You're an idiot. You're burning shit down. You're beating people up. You want to fight him. You're going to lose that fight. And I don't feel bad for them. So I feel bad for the store owners. I feel bad for the people who are out of business. I feel bad for the cops that had to deal with fireworks and urine and ice bottles thrown at their fucking head and faces, who have tinnitus in their ears from explosives. I feel with bricks hitting them in the back of the skull. Those are the people I feel bad for. I don't feel bad for Neely. And it's not that I'm unsympathetic. It's that he's a criminal. And I don't feel empathy for criminals or sympathy. I'm sorry. And
it would be
that make me a bad person. Yeah. I don't care.
Oh,
Go ahead.
It would be interesting to know if any of the parties involved, because this happened in New York, right? If any of the parties involved had ever applied for their CCW at any point and were denied, because you could make the case that had Penny had his CCW, or if Neely did, right? Could you imagine that, how that would play out? Well, here's a case of a black gentleman who was denied his CCW permit and then gets choked out. You can see where, I would love to know if that was a thing.
Well, yeah, go ahead, Amy.
I just, someone mentioned in the comments too, but CNN, I guess, reported that I guess he found his mother's body when he was a child, which
in a suitcase.
And I question why they pointed. I don't discount this as traumatic. I can't even begin to imagine a child having to go through that trauma. But why did they point out that particular thing? I mean, it's all so peculiar.
Because it was Mother's Day.
Oh,
no,
that makes sense. Yeah,
I'm just
teasing.
I was just making a joke. I don't know. I was making a horribly unfunny and cruel joke.
Day, everybody. Hope your mom's not in a suitcase today. That's horrible. Hope
you guys aren't getting your bags packed going out of town. Listen, it's not right. Okay, it sucks. Yeah. I'm sorry, but you know what? We've all been through bad shit, and what we don't do is turn to a life of crime and drugs and start threatening women and trying to hurt people. I'm sorry you lost your mother. Welcome to the fucking club, dude. You know what? I haven't had a mom since I was 18 years old. I haven't had a dad since I was 18 years old. I don't know what to fucking tell you, but what I didn't do is turn to a life of crime. I found a beautiful woman who tolerates my shit instead, and why the fuck she does, I don't know. Once the roofies and duct tape wore off, you think she would have left, but she stayed. So I don't know. I don't care. This Marine should be let go post haste. Yeah. He should all charges should be dropped.
Say about the way you people are gifted.
That's why I stay with you, dear.
Oh, it's true.
It's
true. It's true. It's true.
So that's it. I just don't care. The Marine he's not a hero. He should be expeditiously free of all charges and should be going to get on with his life. But now I'm just letting you know, no matter what happens to this Marine, his life is ruined forever. Yep. He will always be considered a murderer. He will never have a job. And thank God they gave him $2 million for his defense, because I think we should keep giving until this guy's up to $10 million, because this is it for him. This is he's not going to get a job anywhere. Nobody's going to hire him. And even if he's innocent, and he is, because you can't prove that was not involuntary, that his intent was to murder him. You can't. Yeah. And even if it was, you can't do premeditated. And I don't know what else to say. I'm just so pissed off. Last video, Uncle Pete. Oh, Mayor Pete, the guy who rides his bike 2 blocks into work.
Oh, golly, I just don't like this man.
Oh, you're going to love this.
Oh, yeah, he'll love this
because not only was Harry Bird Highway racist, because of the name, they really are racist. Tell Jason, I'm sorry. We're almost done. But now he's saying they truly are racist. That not a name, but that the actual highway in itself is racist. Maybe because they call it a blacktop? No? I don't know. Let's find out why. Pete Buttigieg is going to explain it because I'm sure he's going to go on paternal leave again soon. Here he is.
As to where we target those dollars, I'm still surprised that some people were surprised when I pointed to the fact that if a highway was built for the purpose of dividing a white and a black neighborhood, or if an underpass was constructed such that a bus carrying mostly black and Puerto Rican kids to a beach, or it would have been, in New York was designed too low for it to pass by, that obviously reflects racism that went into those design choices. I don't think we have anything to lose by confronting that simple reality, and I think we have everything to gain by acknowledging it and then dealing with it, which is why the Reconnecting Communities, that $1 billion, is something we want to get to work right away, putting to work.
What a loon job.
I love him.
This fucking guy.
God.
This fucking
Golly,
guy.
Jay, I truly, he is a special kind of crazy evil.
Okay, even if it's true, and it was, there's no doubt in my mind that underpasses and certain highway connects made it very difficult for African-American families to get into predominantly white neighborhoods from their neighborhood. Okay, fine. You can say that, and that's okay. Fine. What the fuck does that have to do with today? And the very least, you can get an Uber. Get an Uber, right?
Nothing.
We're not
and the
driving.
fact that he wants to acknowledge it, acknowledge it and then claim it to be some sort of racist maneuver, right? In today's day and age, where you could make the argument that if anything else, that highways are a tool for people to move further out into the suburbs, right, and get out of the cities. I would say that that's more of an empowering type device, but that's not what he's saying.
Who's responsible for the roads in the United States? Which president?
I have no idea.
No, I know this.
Eisenhower and FDR.
Okay. Eisenhower's on my radar. Yeah.
When you take a look, well, Eisenhower Tunnel is a big giveaway in Colorado, but it doesn't matter. The point is that we have a system that has been trying to free the American people from city living to make it more convenient, just like Leroy said. And whether that be the railroad, whether that be residential connection, whether that be highways or freeways or major interstates, it has been the number one conviction of the United States government to increase travel and spread the dollars from the states to other surrounding states.
Exactly.
Due to holiday time and winter travel for skiing and tourism, to support tourism, not just populace and not just throughfare for roadways for semi trucks and moving ag and livestock, but really to support the tourism trade in the United States. I mean, that has been Eisenhower and Truman both were very much visit all 50 states. And here's your map and here's a sticker. And each summer you go out with your family and you put it. I mean, they had these things that you got when you would buy gas in different states. They had state stickers that you would put on a map, and you would also put it on your vehicle. RV campers came with a U.S. decal, and then you would go ahead and you would go in and you would stop it at the gas station or the DMV, and you would pick up a state sticker to fill it out. These things are not. Yeah, well, it was actually a huge push, and I'm sure they still do it, but they really did it then, and it was all over the place. The point is that the U.S. government has always been a proponent for throughfare travel and tourism, and to sit here and say that because certain decisions were made to stop the inner city from having ease of travel in white neighborhoods, yes, that was true, but that certainly isn't true anymore. And one bridge or one solitary overpass in Harlem does not mean that the rest of the United States is fucking racist and that highways and freeways are, you fucking moron.
Right.
Exactly. It's not as if when people design a road or when the surveyors go out and figure out where the hell they're going to put the thing, that they're not trying to join basically two different populations together. Right. That's what the road network is. It's an actual network so that you can move and be in one place and have one set of friends or group of people that you interact with. And then all of a sudden now you have the capability to do it in elsewhere. So what, you're supposed to design roads that avoid population centers? That'd be the most asinine thing. And basically what he's saying is, no, the fact that we did that makes it racist. No.
Well, and Randall McNally wouldn't even have publishing rights to all the map. I mean, if you look at a map, it doesn't stop at the state fucking line, right? Yes, there's there's interstates for a reason, and there's interstate maps. Man, we would get in California and we would drive all the way across to fucking Florida to go see the Orange Bowl because we couldn't afford plane tickets. They were $900 a piece, and we got in the car and drove for 3 days with a map. There was no phone. There was no asking for directions. You literally circumnavigated 1/12 of the earth, right?
And then
to
a
get
AAA
there.
book.
Yeah, AAA. And then when you got lost, your fucking dad's never going to ask for directions.
Right.
He's going to drive by someone doing 65 and be like, hey, buddy, help me out here. What? In a 67 Chevy. Amy, go ahead. It's your turn.
I just
Then
have a
Olivia.
question. I do have to go soon, but I have a question. Do we feel that Mayor Pete here is prioritizing the salmon over diversity of the actual humans? Because wasn't he pushing to, get away? I don't even remember what that was. Wasn't he getting rid of some bridges or whatever for the natural
he was doing causeways because salmon were being endangered by road bridges. So he wanted to save the salmon spawning run. So instead of rediverting the fucking canal of water 100 feet, he decided to tear down roads and rebuild them, which would cost billions. By the way, real quick, Glenn says it wasn't just for it wasn't just for tourism, it was military. Listen, there were 1,000 reasons to build the interstates. What I'm saying is that one of the major reasons was for tourism and was to share the dollar among states so people wouldn't just hoard in their own state and they could pass without passports. Eisenhower was completely against passports and walls and checkpoints that were in Europe. It was one of the things that he absolutely despised, and he loved the transit system over in Europe and the railways and admired them and wanted to make it as easy to travel by vehicle as it was to travel by a train. So, yes, it was to move tanks and move from military base to military base. Yes, of course. And, of course, it was for ag and wheat, like I said, and food and oil and petrol. Yes, but one of the predominant reasons for Eisenhower and what he did was for tourism and for America to celebrate the states and the freedom that they had to travel without passports. That is a huge piece. And that in itself is not racist, right? And we're back in the Eisenhower day. I mean, shit, we're a rock throw from FDR and putting Japanese Americans in internment camps, for God's sakes. You're a rock throw from LBJ and the Great Society and saying, let's get, African Americans hooked on free government, and those N words will never vote for anyone else again. Hello, Liv?
Amy took my point. I was going to talk about the
nice
salary.
job, Amy.
That's okay.
Freaking women. There's always. Oh, you got your awake shirt. I can't believe I just saw your awake but not woke. It's beautiful. What a great shirt.
Yeah. And I got my hats too. I wore it on Mother's Day.
Nice.
Just because.
Oh, your make females.
Yes.
Make women female again or whatever.
Female again.
All right. Last minute for everybody. Amy's first. You got to go. Then Leroy. Then Olivia. Then me. Go, Amy. Go.
I do have to go. I'm sorry. I have to go, everybody. Last minute. I mean, I feel like our world is going on like a supercharged shift of we're trying to find all these problems. There are a lot of problems in our world. I'm not discounting that, but we're trying to find all these problems, and somehow every problem is rooted back to race. And that's usually not the root cause of the issue. And I think we are headed
Speak for yourself, cracker.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, I'm awake, but I'm not woke.
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry. And that's all. I feel like every topic we have now is somehow it's tied into race, and it's extremely worrisome. I mean, my kids are starting to grow up. They're starting to not my daughter, she's too young, but my son is starting to recognize differences in the world, and not race essentially. He is, but just more character traits. And I noticed that mostly at during his first communion, how really it's a religious thing with him. He's very discriminatory against non-religious people, but not on purpose, and it's not a discrimination thing. I shouldn't say that. He's just acknowledging the differences. He doesn't look down on or disparage anyone. But it's just, I feel like everything is tied back into race. And I feel like, I don't know why I brought that in. I don't think it really makes sense.
No, because it's relevant to every single thing we talked about
Yes,
tonight. The Neely things about
like
race, parents, it's all about race. And
worried for my kids. That's all. Really, it's what
salmon are the only pure race on the planet, and deserve to be protected at all costs. Amy, get out of here. Jason wants you home. We love you. Bye.
Yeah, I'm home. I'm gonna go to bed. All right. I love you guys. Good night. I'll see you later.
See you,
I'm sorry.
See you, buddy. Good luck tomorrow. Let me know if you need anything.
No,
Next week. But I know.
Next
Let me know if you need anything.
Thank you guys. All right. Good night.
You're the best.
Love you guys.
Good night. Leroy, your go, buddy. Your go. Make it happen.
Well, let's think about the stories that were covered tonight. Right out of the gate, we were talking about white supremacy. It seemed like almost immediately we were talking about the statistical data in cities. And then the next story was like the Joe Biden commencement speech. And then we were talking about Daniel Penny in the Neely story. And that transitioned right into Rhodes being racist. It seems like everything that can be done these days, every headline will have some twist, will have some anchor that is rooted in racism and ways to divide the country, rather than realize that the United States is the least racist country on the planet. Right. 15%, a full 15% of all marriages in the United States are in fact biracial.
Right.
So, I mean, when we're talking about like all of these just nasty stories and basically saying, oh, well, Daniel Penny only did that to Neely because he was black. And no, folks, not everything is based on that.
No, it's not.
And you have to, and we have to get beyond that point and realize that people need to be held accountable for their individuality, for the things that you do, not for somebody else's color, not for your color, not for your sex, not for whatever you have dangling between your legs. You are responsible for your own actions. And if I were to go up to Matt in a subway and start getting in his face, I should expect to get jacked right in the jaw. And that's not wrong.
Or ask for a date. Shannon made a comment, said maybe if we all put the pictures of Matt wants us to in our profile pics, the world would be more peaceful. Well, you would certainly not be misgendered as much as you are. That's for sure, Shannon. So just saying, just a thought. Leroy, it's good to have you here, buddy. Love you. Appreciate you. I'm going to blow you off and let you go get home and get some rest. Thanks for putting up with us.
You guys
tonight.
Take care of each other. And Matt and Olivia, love you guys. You guys take care.
You're the best, buddy. Thanks, man.
Hey, Donald's on tonight, and he had a question.
Okay, give it up.
He said, will I be too old for the military when I graduate college at 25? So it's completely off topic. He just wants to know if he can still join the military when he
Donald
graduates
who? What's the last name?
It's the Cody Donald guy who's called in several times.
No shit. You want to join the military? What the shit? No, you will not be too old at 25. In fact, with a college degree, you'll have a good chance to join officer candidate school. I don't know. I think there's something very special about the enlisted ranks. I enjoyed being enlisted. If you're dead serious, it's something that I would love to bring you on and we can talk about it and I'll answer your questions. Make sure you reach out to me before you talk to your recruiter. They're giving an incredible amount of signing bonus right now and plus college money. I mean, you can walk away with like $125,000 in signing bonus and college money. That's just waiting for you. And, going in making $1,200 a month as an E2, E3, but all your food's paid for, all your insurance paid for, your housing's paid for, your clothes are paid for. You get everything and you save, and you can save $10,000 a year easily. And then if you start getting dive pay and hazard pay and jump pay and stuff like that, because you join special forces or you get on a sub or whatever, you're going to get different types of pay. You get surface warfare combat or air warfare, surface warfare certified, and you get all your quals and you make rank. You can make good money. And then when you come out, you're sitting on $175,000. And you go to college and you use that for your rent, because you can use your college for rent and food and your tuition, everything. You go to a 2-year community college and you get picked up by a 4-year. You go to a state college, you get out of there for $50,000. And then you've got a great nest egg in your pocket to get into a house or get into a job. And yeah, man, military is amazing. And then it's on your resume and you may as well just forget college. I did not get my college degree, and they never asked me either. I've been a vice president in companies. I've worked for 3 Fortune 15s, and I've never been asked for my degree because my school was the military. So my recommendation to you is at 25, I would go now. I would wait on college, and you can go to college while you're in the military too, and it's cheap. And you're going to get a shit ton of credits. You're going to have a 2-year degree depending upon your A school and what you did. With an Intel, I had a 2-year degree when I walked out because of Intel training. So I recommend people to go. If you're in college right now, I would stop. Your college credit will transfer. Go in the military for 4 years, get out, and you'll be in a much better position. And yeah, you won't graduate until whatever, but you'll find that you'll have a 2-year degree locked up, and then you'll know what you want to do, and you'll have a trait. You can be an aviation mechanic and go work and be an IS. You go to special forces, and then when you get out, you go dive and do underwater welding or EOD or salvage. And those fucking guys, those team guys in Houston, they make $5-6 million a year doing salvage. An incredible amount of money. And they're always looking for divers. And if that doesn't work, go be a contractor and make $500,000 a year and go over into Poland and train people in special forces. So there's plenty of shit you can do. Military is fantastic. And once you get in, it's amazing. But I wouldn't go in when I'm 25. No way. I'd go in now and then get out and then use your credits for your A school and what you learn in your job, and then go major in that. And then sky's the limit. You can do anything you want. So that's my recommendation. Cool. Make sure. Yeah. That's it. All right, Liv, go. Last words.
I don't know. Amy took my thing. I don't know.
Any highlight stuff?
No, people just been talking on and off about our topics that we've been talking about tonight. I guess how many times I can say the word talk in a sentence. Jeez.
Yeah. Real quick, somebody just said, Timothy said, folks, one side note, we should be absolutely demand that Mr. Trump's impeachment be removed. You can't. An impeachment is an action. It's not a sentence. There's nothing to remove. You can't make the impeachment go away, just like you can't uncensor a president. When a president is censured, that's it. Now, if you take a look at a pardon for Nixon, who was indicted, everyone says he wasn't. He was. And Gerald Ford pardoned him before the indictment and charges went through, but he was indicted. So it's a process. So you can't remove impeachment because it took place. Impeachment's just a hearing. It's a formality. So although it would be nice, Donald Trump's a big boy. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for coming on tonight, Liv. I love you. I appreciate you. Guys, thanks for listening. You can go over to the Don't Unfriend Me store at thedumbshow.com. Buy yourself some cool stuff. Use 10% to get 10% off would be The Dumb Show to get 10% off. And then we give 10% back to the Travis Banyan Foundation. We'll be on Wednesday night as well. I will have a recorded show for you tomorrow. And thanks for watching the Don't Unfriend Me show. Please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't done it. We appreciate you watching. Olivia, you want to sign off?
Night, y'all.
Night, y'all. And do me a favor, go over to our friends at PFC real quick. We're going to play this and then our outro. PFCflags.com. They have wooden flags like the one you see behind Olivia. They are gorgeous. And the one that's behind me, where my AR is on and mounted, it is handmade, all made in the United States. They are gorgeous American flags. Stop by pfcflags.com and go take a look. Here is the site for you. pfcflags.com. Go and see them. Good night, everybody. Please take a listen to this. This is the crisis hotline. You may know a veteran who is struggling. Please listen to that. Write down the number. God bless. See you tomorrow.
I'm David Boreanaz with the Cast of SEAL team, and we have an important message for returning vets.
We want you to know if you're struggling to cope, there's help and it's just a phone call away.
The Veterans Crisis Line is staffed with experienced professionals who know your struggles.
There's no greater sacrifice in service to our country. We're able to enjoy our freedoms because of it.
Your service is important. You are important.
For
and
vets
Shannon,
and their
you did
families,
take that
the
good.
Veterans Crisis
Thanks for being
Line is
awesome.
here to help.
Good night, Shannon.
24 hours a day. Please call.